Hey, you guys, happy Friday. I do not have coffee today, but I do have water in my Stay Wild Moonchild mug, and I have been sipping on it because I've got sinus headaches that have been kind of like right here for the past how many days? I don't know. We're going on 4 or 5 days now, and I'm like, I have too much to do to have sinus headaches this week. So let's make sure that goes away as soon as possible. So I've been trying to drink a ton of water, and I've had no decrease in headache, but that's okay. I thank you so much, Hannah. I usually do not ever wear my hair actually down because it tends to just go in my face like this. But I thought, you know what? I'm going to just wear it down today. And if I have to flip it a lot, then I will just flip my necklace or my hair. Love the necklace. You said this is a necklace that I got from kind of like a little witchy, tarot and gemstone and that kind of stuff shop in Columbia, South Carolina, where we used to live. And it is a lapis lazuli, and it's made by a local artist there who just takes the natural stone and then creates a metal band around it. So it kind of stays its natural self. And my, when I was working with Tanya in the very beginning, she had told me that I needed to have a blue stone near my throat to help with my throat chakra. And this stone I wore straight for like 2 months. I ended up having to replace the chain on it even because I wore it so much that chain broke. So I love this one, and I'm wearing it again today. I am not wearing rings, and my nails need to be done. I was thinking of maybe treating myself to actually going out and getting my nails done, because a lot of times, at least throughout the pandemic time, I've been wearing either press-on nails or I have been just painting them here at home, but I don't really have time to paint them every 3 or 4 days. And the press-on nails aren't like compatible with packing. So I was thinking of going to get some like actual like gel nail polish or something like that done. So then I can kind of treat myself to that on the road as like a treat. But I don't know if I have time, so we'll see. And Lana, and I always forget if it's Lana or Lena, because one of my good friends in high school was Lana and it was Lena, but then I know some people are like Lana instead of Lena, but I will say Lena. And if it's not that, let me know. But you actually are the winner of the Beautiful Demons paperback from Friday's chat in the replay. So Jenna won the one during the live, and Lana won the one from the chat. So if you want to just email me, sarah@sarahcannon.com, let me know your address and everything, and I will get all this stuff sent out before we leave. But if you already have Beautiful Demons, because I know you have, I don't know if you have any of the paperbacks, but I know you've been a reader for a while. So if you already have this book, then just tell me another book that you don't have, because I have not packed mine up yet. So I am going to be sharing a few things with you. I also have another giveaway that I'm going to do out of, I could donate or do, and I was trying to decide exactly what I wanted to do with it because I can't really take it with me. But I'm not going to give this away today, but I'm going to give away my very beloved Chromebook that has my skin on it currently still has the Vengeful Darkness skin on it. But this Chromebook is awesome. It's a little bit older. It's a Samsung Chromebook Plus, I think, or a Pro. I forget which one, if it'll tell me. I don't know, but this has been a workhorse for me, and I have written many books on this. So if you would like the laptop that Sarah Cannon wrote at least 4 books on, I've had this for a while, and this is the majority of my books in the last few years have been written on this laptop. And it's still great. So I'm just going to, obviously, I will security clear it so that it doesn't have any of my passwords in it. And I will even sign the skin for you. So if you're interested in that, stay tuned, because I will be giving this away before I leave as well. But not today. So it's a great little Chromebook, and it's one of the kinds that you can kind of make it into a little laptop, like it'll go all the way around. so that you can kind of make it into a tablet. And it does have the pen that goes with it too. So it's a pretty cool one. And if you're a writer, you can maybe get some extra mojo on it. I love the way the keyboard works on this. It's like little chiclet keys kind of. But I have my new like larger Razer laptop that I can use for gaming and writing and my video editing and everything else. And then I also have my iPad, and it just feels kind of crazy to take my iPad and my Razer and my Chromebook and my phone. It's just too much. We don't have enough space in the car, and I don't really want to leave it. So I'm going to give it away. So that's going to be something fun. Kelly says, I would love to have it, even if it's just to put it up on a shelf. I don't know that I'm famous enough for a laptop to go on a shelf, but that makes me feel good that you would even think of that. So thank you. We do have a lot of questions today, and I would like to go ahead and get to some of them. But if you have not listened to the finale, then Rival Demons is over. On Wednesday, we read the finale of Rival Demons, and we are moving on to book 12. So I'm going to give you guys the schedule, but I basically went through book 12. You wish. I wish it was done. We're moving on to book 6. But we have I have gone through and kind of sectioned out the chapters to be a little bit shorter, hopefully, than these are, because this is going to go into the Spooktacular in October. Plus, we've been kind of going over the hour almost consistently by like 3 to 5 minutes. And I feel like it's just going to continue to grow. So I would like to keep it within that hour, especially since we're going to be traveling and things are going to be a little bit off the wall. So I've tried to keep them like 8 pages or so, so that the reading isn't more than 30 minutes. So anyway, the laptop, you won't need it. So Katrina, I have a new laptop, and I also have a new iPad Pro with a keyboard. So I don't need a Chromebook also. And so I was probably going to give it away anyway. And now is the time, because we are moving. So there will be lots of new little things heading out of my house. We are getting rid of so many things. We're doing kind of a virtual yard sale this weekend. And like I said, I'm not getting rid of this furniture or my desk here, but almost everything else in our house is going, like headboards, dressers, side tables, the couch, the kitchen table that we eat at. So it's all going so that we don't have to store it. And because I have wanted to get rid of a lot of it anyway, and we will just start fresh wherever we end up. Hi, E-Marie, how are you? So yeah, that is kind of where we are. I am going to answer a few questions, and then I also have a little slideshow kind of pulled up here that I'm going to take you guys through the schedule for Demons Forever and kind of explain how things are going to go. For a little bit longer, you're going to see this background, and I'll be using this computer, but I am also going to give it a shot and a try with my laptop, because when I'm on the road, I need to do the live streams on something other than my desktop, right? So right now I've been using my iMac, which is just a bigger Mac, and I use the webcam on it. So we're going to have to change things around. So my webcam might start to look a little bit different, and hopefully I can carry all this stuff with me. It's like when you do so many live streams and other things, it's like I have to take some of my lighting, I have to take my microphone, I have to take my laptop. It's going to be a lot of stuff. So I think that's the most stressful part of the move right now, is what are we going to do if everything doesn't fit? So we got to get some practice. Or what if we get on the road and it's like, oh, I realize this webcam doesn't work right, or anything like that. So we are going to try and practice things as much as possible. So I am nervous and excited at the same time. We'll see how it goes. Okay, so a few questions there were several questions in the Coven, and then a lot of questions on Discord too. So Stephanie said, if you don't mind sharing, what were Tanya's tarot cards for July or August during your yearly reading, or at least looking at them now? Were all these changes hinted at? So I grabbed my tarot notebook from upstairs. So if you were not aware of this, because you joined us late or you don't remember Tanya, Tanya is kind of like my spiritual guru in a way. I've been working with her privately for years, and she does a yearly tarot reading that she offers for anybody to sign up for. And basically it happens at the end of each year, where you can sign up to have her read a tarot card for each year of the upcoming year. And it has been really, really great for me, and I've really enjoyed it. So my July card was the King of Swords, and this was all about clarity and trusting yourself, that some of the things that were going to be like, some of the things you weren't sure about, or some of the things in your life were going to become super clear. And that is definitely what happened for me in July, is like getting crystal clear about what we really want, how we're going to do. Whenever we found out about all the different things, it suddenly became extremely clear to me, especially because it's King of Swords, right? It became extremely clear to me that what I thought I wanted is not really what I wanted, and that there is so much clarity and confidence coming through in these choices. And all it took was a chance to sort of recalibrate where, what was going on for me. Now, August's card is very different. So August's card for me is the 5 of Wands. And part of what she said to me was, who are you competing against? Don't get so caught up in the stories. It's your passion, your fire. And that she said this would be another choice point in my year, where it would be up to me to decide, am I working for myself or am I working against myself? And I don't exactly know how this will play a role throughout the entire month. And sometimes I don't know until later. But part of what she said is August is a time to take stock, and there's great potential and power depending on your choices. Remember who you are, not what you are. And I can kind of see where this is already starting to play a role. I won't go into some of it because it's more personal, but yes. But what's really, really interesting about the yearly tarot draw, and this made me just, oh my gosh, I was like, you've got to be kidding, is for September, I have the 8 of Cups. And what she said was, this will be your moving month. And when I heard that originally back in December, I was like, well, that doesn't make sense, because they said the house is supposed to be done by June. So it's hard to believe that we won't be moving until September unless something really goes wrong. So hopefully that's not the case. And I just thought, no way we'll be moving in September. But here we go, leaving our house September 1st. Say goodbye to one thing and hello to something new and better, is what she said. She said, this is the perfect time after a busy summer to transition to something new. And just remember, it's all positive and it's all coming together. And I thought that was really cool. This is the Light Seers Tarot deck. I've used it before. But yeah, Akshara says, wow, she really does know it all. It is really amazing too. And it's like the month that I had my release. So for June, when I had my release for Vengeful Darkness and it did so well, I had the Star card, and it was all about how this was going to be a big month for my career. And it really was. So, October, you guys will be happy to see is the Page of Swords. And you can see she's holding a book and she has all these ideas and it's all about flow and energy and new ideas and writing and everything else. So that should be really, really good. And then my November card is Temperance. And then my December card is the King of Wands. So it's looking like August, which is this month, is going to be probably the most challenging month in terms of my mental state. But how crazy is it that she knew that far in advance? Like this, she did this reading for me in early December, that she could sense that September was going to be, and that card, you've got the woman moving away from the ocean, walking toward the sun, but it's also like the 8 of Cups can also be about like, is it positive? You're leaving something behind, but be thankful. It's like, you could interpret that as really it's up to you to make the decision whether this is positive or negative. And I think that it was, it's one of those kind of light bulb moments for me when I started thinking about the September card, because who would have known that it really would have been September before we would be moving. So yeah, it's definitely highly recommended if you get a chance and you can sign up for that she does an amazing job. And every year it has been like that, where it's like, oh my gosh, she said this would happen, including my pregnancy and everything else. So it's all there. She's amazing. Okay. So Sarah had asked, what are the gemstones you talk about in the book, and what is each gemstone used for? How did you decide on each gemstone and what the gemstone would be used for? So for some of it, it's stuff I can't fully talk about. Some of it is just, I chose stones that I thought were different and unique that spoke to me. And when I was writing in Rival Demons, I didn't know what those stones would be necessarily. Like, I didn't know that this stone would mean this. And it really wasn't until later in the series that you'll start to see with Emerald and so on, that you start to understand what the properties of each stone are. And this is one of those things that when I get a chance to write a new series that I can start from the beginning, I am determined that I'm going to spend more time really thinking about that stuff up front. It's like, I don't think I can be somebody who's going to plot the whole series out way ahead of time, but I would like to have those magical choices made ahead of time. Like, if I were going to put 5 different gemstones and a diamond into the series, I want to know before I even start writing about those gemstones what the properties of each of them are. And back when I was writing Rival Demons, it's like I knew, but I didn't really start to figure it out until later. And you do see some properties of the ruby stones, because the communication stones that they have that they're using with each other are ruby stones. Except I think one time Harper mentions it's a clear stone, which would be something that if I were to go back and change it, I would go back and change it to a ruby stone, since those have become throughout the series the ones that have more of the like holding on to communication and the communication type magic to them. But yeah, even if you read all the way through to book 11, you don't get full answers as to what every single stone does, because I never fully decided. And I feel like that is something I'm looking forward to about building a brand new series from the bottom up, is really starting to decide. And I have done more of that with, The Witch's Key. When I started writing that, even though I was writing it kind of off the cuff, I actually sat down and thought, what are some of the properties of some of these things? What do the keys do? I was trying to answer a lot more of those questions. So it's one of those things of like, the more you write, the more you start to learn about what you need to know when you start writing. So CG Hernandez says, this isn't about the book, but how do you plan when something comes up and throws you completely off track? I had made my goals and plans, then had to drop everything to take care of my mom. Then she passed and I'm still packing her house and stuff. I don't know how to get back into the swing of things. I'm so sorry to hear about your mom. That is really tough. And I think that it is kind of one of those things where, especially when you have a death in the family or something that rocks your world to that extent, and you still have all this on your plate, that I think you have to just say, okay, this is not going to be a time when I'm going to be maxing out my goals, and it's okay. And to give yourself that space so that you don't beat yourself up over not getting everything done, because there're just going to be times where it's like, okay, I need some space and time. Then when you start to feel like you're ready to take on a few things, instead of doing some grand plan where you have to get all these things done, just pick like a couple of things you want to focus on. Like, I really kind of want to get back into writing, so I'm going to start writing for 30 minutes a day, and let that be the only thing that you add to your plate when you've got all this other stuff going. I think that's one of the things that I'm having to learn for myself too, is, there are just going to be periods in your life that you're not going to be like your best max self in terms of productivity. And that's okay, because it's a season of your life where maybe you're not meant to be so productive. You're meant to, close a chapter, or you're meant to focus on a baby, or you're meant to deal with other health issues, or you're meant to just focus on your own mental health and not have to be so productive all the time. I think that our culture makes us feel like if we want to make our goals come true, we have to hustle all the time and get things done and be, we can't waste a single minute, because you never know when tomorrow, won't come, or whatever. And while it is good to try to make the most of the time you have, it's also good to give yourself a little bit of grace. So I would say that how to get back into the swing of things when you've had a massive change of plans is something that people ask me a lot. So I do have a couple of videos on what to do once my plan has changed, if you want to check those out over on the Heart Breathings channel. But for the most part, when it comes to something this big, like a death in the family or a loss of someone you truly loved or were caring for, I think you just got to give yourself time and just ease back into things and give it just one day at a time, and stop trying to be so far out in the future. And even that can be personality based, because sometimes people need to stay busy to get through. So it's like, what do you need? But if you're feeling, don't let guilt hold you, don't let guilt hold you hostage right now when you've got so much else on your plate. But I would just say, instead of trying to pick 3 goals and get a ton of stuff done, just pick one thing you want to start incorporating and start building positive momentum. Like, okay, I'm going to sit down and listen to an audiobook every day for the next 6 weeks or whatever it is. And then once you get into that groove, then you move to the next one, and start building things back up until you get, all the other things done that you have to get done. Lisa, this is the last question from the Coven. Lisa said, "Hi, Sarah. I was wondering if you please have any tips for choosing which genre to write when you are pulled to more than one. I've been writing as a hobby for a few years now, and I'm considering trying to get published." So this is really tough, because I definitely do recommend that you start with one particular genre once you start publishing. But if you are just starting to, well, I guess if you've been writing for a while and now you're trying to decide what to publish, I would say, you want to write what you love, but when you write multiple things that you love, then I would pick the most marketable thing that you would love to write, the thing that you can see yourself writing for many years to come, and the thing that has the most of a series potential, because series tend to sell better, at least in indie publishing, which is my experience. I'm not the person to ask about trad publishing stuff, but I really feel like so often what you could also play around with 2 different ideas. Like if you have 2 ideas for different series, then start writing a little bit of one, or start plotting it out, or whatever your process is, and then going to the next one and saying, well, let me try this one, and then seeing which one sort of takes off and has a spark. But where I see people make mistakes when it comes to actually selling books is they'll just say, well, I'm going to write both. I'll write one of this book, and then one of this book, and then one of this book, and then one of this. And then you've got 3 or 4 series going, and you never build momentum in your career because you're taking so long between books. And it's so much more valuable marketing wise to have one single series, one genre that you stay consistent in. And this is stuff we talk about in Publish and Thrive as well. As far as choosing which one is right for you, I always say, if you are totally in love and they're all other things created equally, choose the thing that, number one, you can see yourself writing for a long time, and that you love it enough that you have lots of ideas in that genre. So let's say you love mystery thriller, but you also really love fantasy. But every time you think about fantasy, you have 10 different ideas for series, but you only have one idea for a mystery, then I would go with fantasy. And otherwise, if everything else is equal, pick the thing that sells best. If it's a choice between contemporary romance about cowboys versus, sci-fi zombie thriller, romance cowboys are going to sell better and make more money just about every day of the week. So it's one of those kind of things. But I would never say write the cowboys if you don't love it. So write the most marketable thing that you're passionate about. That's my advice. So that's that. I did see there are some questions in the chat too. So Deborah said, do you ever incorporate dreams or nightmares that you've had in your stories? And I really do. So I wish that I could tell you some of my other ideas, because I have certain things that I haven't talked about, because they're just kind of my stories, my ideas so far. But I do incorporate dreams sometimes into the stories. Even the very end of The Witch's Key I've talked about before was something that came to me kind of in a vision. And it did get kind of changed around a little bit, but there's also the story of the haunting of Luna Day. That is another story that hasn't been written yet completely. It's only about 20,000 words in, that hasn't been published yet, but that story also came from a dream. So sometimes they do come from dreams. And I think that that's a great place to get ideas. I know I've heard people say too, that if you start like a dream journal and you start waking up every day, first thing, writing your dreams, that you'll start to remember them more. And this is something I have wanted to do because I think it would be kind of cool to remember the dreams more. Do you already have an idea about a new series? So I've talked about some of them before, like the Arcana, Witches of the Arcana, which would be a tarot witch series, and it would be 4 sisters, where each control one of the types of the Arcana. So you'd have, the cups and swords, pentacles, and so on. So that is something that's on my mind. I also have had an idea for moving out of young adult and writing something that's more episodic, kind of like mystery, I guess. But then I don't know if that's right for me either. So I have definitely not decided on anything. And then, of course, I have the stories. I have the Witch's Key still to go, and I have the Summer of Ghost Stories. So there's just tons of things, but it's like, what's going to be my next 12 book series? I don't know. I just don't know. Well, how is 6 months for life going? Have you made or started seeing any big results? So I have not done any of the vlogs yet because I keep running out of time, and we're already staying up too late most nights, like getting things packed. And then we're up until midnight. And then I have to be up with Evie at 6 a.m. and I'm just not getting enough sleep. And so I haven't had a chance. And it's kind of disappointing to me because I have wanted to vlog the experience. Plus, I really wanted to get part of 6 months for life was getting back onto like an exercise routine, a food routine. And now we're packing things up that we need to cook or, stuff like that. And we're trying to just get rid of what's in the kitchen. And I have actually cut out sugar and flour. So that is something I've done for 3 weeks now or something. And I've lost 6 pounds, but I lost the 6 pounds within the first week or two and just have been kind of staying steady, even though I'm eating much better. And I think the weight has not come off because there's too much stress and not enough sleep. So I have not seen any massive results yet, partially because I think I need to get recentered and refocused with it. So I definitely, when I said I was ready for change in my life and I was ready for big, massive change, was not anticipating this kind of change. So it's a little bit crazy, I will definitely say. Yes. So I was just checking to see, I got to turn this phone on Do Not Disturb because people keep messaging me. And I'm like, leave me alone. I'm on live stream. I have a friend who's often messages me. And then later she's like, oh, I forgot you were live during this time. Portable Kanban boards. What about making a triptych from 3 foam core boards taped together? Stickies could be protected. So I find that sticky notes don't stick to core foam boards very well. I feel like you have to glue them down. I've tried using foam boards from like science fair stuff, and the stickies always fall off and I have to reinforce them. So for me, I don't think that's the best option. Plus foam boards are pretty big and I need something small. So I'm pretty sure I've got my system with the folders because they're just so small and compact and they'll just fit right into a binder. But I do know that there are people who use foam board type things, but a lot of the people that I know that have used the foam boards have had to cover the foam boards with some other type of either plastic or tape or fabric in order to, or even paper to get the sticky notes to stick to them. Otherwise they just fall off. You did a good job with your circumstances. Yeah, it's been a lot. And so, yes, not gaining it back is good. And it does take the scale a while to catch up. But so one of the crazy things that has happened, which I'll talk about in the schedule, but I think I can officially talk about it now because I have signed the contract and everything, is that, so NINC is Novelists Inc. It's organization that's just for published writers, and you have to have sold a certain number of books to even get into it. But they asked me to speak at their conference a couple years ago, and we took Evie down there even when she was just 3 weeks old. That was like her first big outing, was we went to speak at NINC, and that was really, really cool. And that was a fun experience. I did 2 speaking events there and met up with my reps from Apple and Barnes and Noble and everything else, which is always fun to see them. And when they found out that I was going to be on the move, they were like, hey, could you come to St. Petersburg and speak for us again in September? And what's crazy is they didn't even know it, but we already are going to be in St. Petersburg. So now we have just extended our trip there. So we'll spend almost the entire month of September in St. Petersburg, and I will be speaking again at NINC. So I'm going to do one speaking workshop on planning as a writer, and I'm going to do one on starting a YouTube channel and building a community through YouTube. So that's going to be really cool. I think that'll be super fun. Yeah, it's always busy. Yeah, so you could, the first thing that I was looking at doing was, so I always laminate my book covers and put them into my Happy Planner. And George was, I was there and I told George, I could just take the laminated pages and make a tri-board out of the laminated pages and then put them into my plotting notebook, right? And then he was like, why not just use a folder or whatever? And so that kind of worked out, because I want something that I can put either on the wall or something I can see. So I think it's going to be really cool, because I'm going to use my Erin Condren desk, like acrylic. I talked about it in the notebook challenge if you didn't get a chance to see it. So I'm just going to use a regular folder, and it'll just have my to do and my done. And then the ones that I'm currently working on will go on an Erin Condren acrylic stand that will go on the desk wherever I'm working. That way it's not out of sight, out of mind. It's going to be right there. And yes, how cool of synchronicity is that? They didn't even know that was where we chose. And we chose St. Petersburg because we are considering potentially moving to Florida, and we wanted to go back to that area because we enjoyed it so much when we were there with Evie. And because she was so little, we did not get a chance to really go and explore as much as we would have. So it's all going to work out. We do have to move. So the first 2 weeks we'll be at an Airbnb that has a pool in the back, which is going to be awesome, but it's a little bit further from the beach. But then for the second Airbnb, we're moving to one that's like right across the street from the beach. So we'll get kind of both experiences there, and we'll get a chance to really get an idea of how that's going. But I'll get a chance to meet up with my Apple rep, and I'll get a chance to meet up with Barnes and Noble. And I am not sure if Google Play is going to be there, but I'll talk to like everybody who's there. I'll get a chance to see. And some of my good friends are going to be there, like Ines Johnson. And I'm just super excited. Deborah Dunbar is going to be there. So it's going to be fun. I did see that somebody had asked for a link to Tanya earlier, and I'm not sure who it was, but I did see it. So her link is tarotlifecoach.com. I'm pretty sure. I'll put that in the chat, but I'm pretty sure it's tarotlifecoach.com, or her name is Tanya Gonzalez. And I think that is her Instagram handle as well, but she's incredible. And I think she may even have a free event going on Monday or Sunday. So check that out for sure. Tampa Bay is awesome. Yeah, I'm interested in kind of getting to know that whole area. We had a friend that lived in Parrish, which is kind of in that general area. So we're going to check it out. I'm not sure. In Florida, I want to have a coffee with you while you're here. Yeah, we'll check it out. We'll definitely check it out. I have not decided if I want to do any kind of like meetups or anything like that, just because, we are still kind of, some places are still going into lockdown, and I want to make sure everybody stays safe, including my kids and everything else, especially if we're going to be traveling so much. So I haven't really decided. I do feel like there are ways to get together without, putting yourself in danger, but I don't necessarily want to like do any book signings or big crowds or anything like that right now. So we'll just kind of see how it's going. I don't know. I really don't know, but it's interesting to find out. Yes. Lionsgate event Sunday, 8/8. So go check out her stuff for more info on that. I am going to share my screen with y'all, and we're going to talk about this just a little bit. So just a little bit of a wrap up. I thought this was kind of fun to pull this little picture of Andrew out. So when I was writing Rival Demons, since we're kind of wrapping up book 5, I definitely had a bit of a trouble writing that book initially because we were going through all kinds of infertility treatments. We actually had started infertility treatments a while before, but while I was working on Rival Demons, I finally got pregnant with Andrew. And some of you know that story, some of you don't, but we were scheduled to go to start IVF in like on that Friday. And I found out 2 days before we started IVF that I was pregnant with Andrew. And it was just the best. And so I wrote Rival Demons while I was pregnant with him. That book came out in January. Andrew was born in June. And so that whole year I struggled to write a little bit, but I was plotting and different things like that. But anyway, Demons Forever did not come out until December. So here is Andrew, just maybe 2 or 3, probably 3 months old, maybe 4 months old. And I had gotten him a little onesie that says Peachville High School Demons, which I had a bunch of t-shirts made and different stuff like that. So that was fun. I just thought you guys would enjoy that. And then here is me right before Rival Demons came out, or maybe it was just after. I think this was January of 2012. So this was right after Rival Demons came out. I was asked to come and speak about self-publishing. And I just liked this photo because I'm obviously like 6 months pregnant or whatever. And then I've got my little ribbon on that you can see, the blue ribbon, which is for Harper. Although her dress that she rips off a piece and wears is white, I wore a blue one just for her. And then I just thought you guys also might want to see an example of what my desk looked like back then. So at this point in time, George and I were living in a very small townhouse. I don't even know if it was 1,000 square feet. It was pretty small townhouse. And we had one bedroom that was set up for our office. And I had saved up to buy this desk that had this little hutch on it. And it was so blinged out in Hello Kitty. Like you could see all my Hello Kitty stuff at the top, all the Hello Kitty lights and Hello Kitties everywhere. It was my Hello Kitty desk. But I had 2 monitors, which I still like to work with a lot of times, the 2 monitors. And then inside those drawers, or not drawers, but the cabinets there, I have even more notebooks. So you can see all those notebooks on the side. And then you can see like the top shelf of that little inner cubby is just like a bunch of little teeny tiny Hello Kitties. And then you can also see, if you look closely at the books that are there by that cubby in the second hole, there's like 10,000 Baby Names book. And that is the book that I use a lot of times. And I will highlight names that I've used in the books in that one book. And I have had that for years. And then in the back, you can see my vision board, which was my vision board for not only getting pregnant, but for I was hoping to hit the USA Today or something like that with those 2 books, and obviously did not, but that's okay. So I had my whole vision board was in the back there, and I used to always keep it by my desk. So just a little throwback of what my desk looked like. And I even have, like, on the right side there, you can see I have my veil from when we got married. When did you start collecting Hello Kitty stuff? I started collecting Hello Kitty stuff when I was 6 years old. So it's a lifelong thing. But when my house burned down, so I had 2 house fires. And when my house burned down the second time, I lost almost all of my collectibles and had to kind of start over. So here is a throwback photo of when I first started plotting Demons Forever. So this was right after Rival Demons came out, and I started working on it. So this is just a very nice little throwback image to how I used to set things up. So this is a combination of these types of little page flags, right? I guess these are Post-it ones. And I used to get different colors, and every single little like sequence or part of an act would have its own color. And then I had all of the note cards. So I was plotting and using note cards all the way back, before 2012, and had got my system down. So I used to write like little, little notes to myself about what was happening in that scene here in the little note cards. And then I had some little page flags that were a little bit bigger than the other ones. And I made sure they were all color coordinated. And I put them on not only that main sheet, but I also had them on my note cards. And that was pretty fun. And then I used colored pens that matched and everything else. So you can see, you can see that I was just as obsessive about my plotting and other things then as I am now. It has only gotten worse. Also, just a little throwback to the fact that these, covers that you guys have gotten used to, if you're new to me, are not the original covers. So this series was originally called the Peachville High Demons series, and Rival Demons was book 5. And here you can see the ring on the cover. So each of the original covers had an item on there. So they had the girl. And then, well, actually, this was the original cover for this book, but the first couple of books had a different set of covers. So these are kind of like the second covers, but it gives you that ring and her with the white rose as well. And then this was the original cover for Demons Forever. So now, for those of you who have not read the book, you can sit and wonder what the butterfly pendant is going to be in this next book, like what significance that will have in the next book. And then this was a banner of all 5 books, or all 6 books once they were coming out. This was like my Facebook banner back in the day. It's like so old now. It's like almost 10 years ago. And then when I first put out the box set, this was what the box set looked like. And I had this cover, but I never actually published a box set of all 6 books. I ended up only publishing a box set of the first 3 books, and that was all I did. So that cover never got used. But another thing that I have done now is obviously we have new covers, and Demons Forever is the final book of that first arc. So originally this was the last book of the series, and Emerald Darkness became book 1 of the Darkness series. And I've told this before, but I know some people still get confused that have found me afterward. But what ended up happening was so many people that loved the original Demon series didn't realize that Emerald Darkness was like a follow-on book that had the same characters. And so a lot of people weren't picking it up, and they were really confused. Is this still Harper? What's happening with this? And so I took a big risk and decided to recover all of it. It cost me like $5,000 to recover everything, rebrand the whole series. And I changed the name of the series to the Shadow Demons Saga. And luckily it paid off. It paid off really big. So it was a good investment. But this is the beautiful new cover for Demons Forever. And I say new, even though it's been the cover for many years now. So I have gone through and I have separated these into episodes, and we are going to have 22 episodes. So I'm going to take you, before I answer some of the coffee chat questions on the Discord, I'm just going to take you through the schedule real quick. So Monday, August 9th is the beginning of Demons Forever. So we're just going to start right back on Monday with chapter 1 or episode 1 of Demons Forever, which takes off exactly where Rival Demons left off. Episode 2 will be on Wednesday, and then coffee chat on Friday. Same thing the following week, episodes 3 and 4, coffee chat. The next week is the 23rd. I am slating us for still episodes 5 and 6, to be totally normal, but our pod gets delivered on the 26th. The movers come on the 28th, and I have the little suitcase there on the 28th on Saturday because the movers are going to be loading everything into the pods. We will no longer have any furniture in our house, so we have to go stay in a hotel. So on Monday, I'm still planning to go live, but I'll go live from the hotel. So that is just once the 23rd hits, just keep an eye on my social media and let's see what happens. Because if it turns out that we're in crazy packing mode, it might end up, I still will read. I will still plan to read, but it might just be that there's no real chatting. It's let's read, and it's 30 minutes and we're done. But keep an eye and we will see how it all goes. But that should be August for us. And I have the little global sticker there because that is the beginning. We're not actually going global. We're just going to stay in the United States, mostly in the South. But I just thought it was a cute sticker to mark the beginning of our travel. So Wednesday, September 1st will be an off day for me. That's why I have the little map with the GPS, because we will be traveling to St. Petersburg that day and going to our first Airbnb. Then the second is Evie's second birthday. So I'm taking that day off. So even if you're in Publish and Thrive, by the way, I'll be doing the live streams on Thursday. That Thursday we are off, and the Publish and Thrive live stream that week will be on Saturday instead. So that week we'll just read one episode on Monday and nothing on Wednesday. Then the following Monday, September 6th, is Labor Day. So we're going to take that day off as well. And then we'll read the 8th episode on the 8th. Oh, the 4th is Christabelle's birthday. So I need to put that on there too. So we've got episodes 9 and 10 on the 13th and 15th. Then the week of the 20th, again, we'll see how it plays a little bit as we go, because the 11th and 12th that week, 11th and 12th episodes, I think will still be fine. But the 22nd is technically when that NINC conference starts, and they're having a meet and greet kind of like dinner thing. And I'm not sure what time that starts. So if that starts at like 4, then I won't be able to go live that day on the 22nd. So I will let you guys know. Then I have that little book and everything, because the 24th, there will be no coffee chat because I will be speaking at NINC during that time. So I will definitely, you don't have to memorize this. I'll definitely keep us posted as we go. Then hopefully the 13th and 14th episode will be that next week. If we have to skip the 22nd because I have to be at NINC, then we'll just do a Monday, Wednesday, Friday reading that following week. So then we are already into the spooktacular, which is crazy. It's crazy. I'm like, how is this happening? So like I said, if we have to, we'll read the episode 14 on Friday the 1st. And it just so happens that we'll finish Demons Forever is into 22nd episode, 22 episodes. We'll finish it at the end of October. So I think that works out perfectly, because then we'll have the spooktacular where we can do some giveaways and some fun chats. And then we'll also do our reading. And then the Friday chats will be more like some of the spooky conversations. So I think that'll work out just about perfectly. But the whole month of October, we don't know where we're going to be. So we don't know when we're going to be traveling. We aren't sure exactly what's going to happen. Like in September, we leave our Airbnb, I think, on that Sunday or Monday, the 27th. So if we're on the road, we're on the road. So I will just keep you guys updated. So just kind of try to stay flexible with me. Also, just as a quick reminder for those of you who might want to join, Publish and Thrive closes on Sunday because we start on Monday. So just a quick mention to that for those of you who are self-publishing. I know we do have some people in our group that are already in. Very exciting. So a few more questions before we go. I wanted to go through that pretty quickly, but 22 episodes because this book is a lot longer, and there's so much good stuff coming in this book. For those of you that haven't read it yet, it's one of my favorites. All right, so we had done some of M. Wright's questions last time, and I can't remember which ones, but basically she was asking, like, would it be beneficial to invest in an ergonomic split or wave keyboard and mouse early? If you're having any kinds of pains as a writer or someone who works on keyboards a lot, I highly recommend getting an ergonomic keyboard as soon as possible, because it's preventative, and the more you can, it's going to take time to get used to, like a split keyboard or whatever. But I don't even know if I can bring it up, but I have, this is my keyboard. It's Bluetooth. It's a Kinesis, and it's split like this. And it took some getting used to, but I love, love, love this keyboard. It will probably go on the road with me because it keeps my hands at a totally natural space away from each other instead of having to go in like this. I recommend getting one as soon as you can. You don't have to get this one, but just any kind of like ergonomic keyboard. Publish and Thrive is offered twice a year, February and August. The February round next year is hopefully going to be an updated version where I'll be expanding the course from 5 weeks to 6 so that we have 2 full weeks to talk about marketing. And the price will also probably go up. So if you're on the fence, but you really want to do it, I highly recommend getting in this round because you'll get the lower price and then you'll get the updates on the in the future. Jennifer said, can you link that keyboard? So I have a Amazon store. I think it's amazon.com/shop heart breathings or something like that. I will get you a link. Definitely. I'm trying to think what else she asked. Other than A5, what type of leather notebooks do you like? So A5 is always my favorite, but I'm starting to get into B6, but I don't have any B6 like traveler's notebooks from Chic Sparrow, but I think that answers a lot of them. She also asked, do I have any tips and advice for setting up an HB90 planner in a bullet journal? I don't have any because I haven't ever done that. I'm always using, obviously, the planner that I designed. But if you want to set up HB90 in a bullet journal, then ask the community, especially if you've taken the HB90 course, because there are lots of people that have done HB90 in a bullet journal or in a Trello board or other ways that they've adapted. And so those are probably the best people to ask. Yeah, who are you yelling at, Angela? Let me know. So NLH Writes had said for next week, because I forgot my question. So she asked this last week. When setting up a series and the first 3 are companions with no real order, but the last book is supposed to be read last because the MCs meet, what would you call that series? Companion series, a dynamic series? I don't know how to label it for future readers. So here's what I say about that. It's really doesn't matter what you call it in terms of the readers. Like readers don't go, oh, that's a companion series. Like if the books mostly stand alone, and readers don't usually know the terminology dynamic series, that's like just kind of my word for it. But all readers need to know is, how do I read this series? And if you tell them this is book 1, this is book 2, this is book 3, and this is book 4, then you're going to be good to go. And because book 4 has to be read last, then I would just tell them, this is book 1, this is book 2, 3, and 4, instead of trying to say, and you could say they're standalones in that there is a complete plot in each one. It's like not a cliffhanger at the end. So you could say something like no cliffhanger, standalone, and then just say like book 4 is to be read last, or read them in this order. And that's fine. You don't have to like label it as a name. You just need to tell them the order to read it when you number your series. And that makes it so much easier. Oh, people who need to take Publish and Thrive. Yes, you should take it. You should take it. It's worth it. Plus the community is amazing. So Sevilla Law said, would you ever consider doing a how to create community using YouTube course? So this is kind of funny because this is one of the topics they asked me to speak on at NINC. So this is more of that synchronicity because I did not suggest that topic. They suggested that topic to me. And now you're also saying that you would like to take a course on how to build community in YouTube. And I think that I will definitely be doing some videos on how I recommend starting a YouTube channel, whether I think it's worth it to start a YouTube channel, how much time it takes, how much money I've invested in it, how I've become successful at it. So I'll be putting some of those videos on my main Heart Breathings channel. So I haven't really considered doing a course on it, but I might do some free info on it, which is even better. Kate Kilpatrick said, how old was Evie when she started holding a pen correctly? She seems very advanced. And when did she start drawing, regardless how she was holding her pen? My little one is 8 months, not suggesting she starts, but maybe when I could try to give her a crayon. So Evie just naturally picked up a pen like a pro. I have no idea. I think she just really watches me. I don't know if George remembers exactly when she started doing that, but it was before she was a year old. She was already holding a pen correctly. It was crazy. I don't even know how she got to doing it. So it was pretty early. 8 months is like ridiculously early because they probably can't even grip anything. But once she was able to grip stuff, she definitely was, doing it great. So she eats crayons though. That's the problem. If she grabs one of my pens, she writes on her face. And if she gets crayons, she wants to eat them. So that's the problem we're having with that. So she asked also, the HB90 social media planner, is this still on the board to be finished or is it on the back burner? So sadly, that is a project that went completely on the back burner because I just didn't have time to put it into my quarterly plan at all this year. So it's something maybe in the future that will come out because I really did have a pretty good design, but for now there's no plan. And with our lives up in the air the way they are, I just don't have time to do it. Do you have a video with all the books you've recommended for writing? So I don't have a specific video, but my plotting series has in the back of it and in all of the description box has a list of books, of my favorite writing books. I have read probably like 10 times more than what I recommend, but those are my favorite ones that were the ones that really like I reference the most. So either go back to the How I Plot a Novel series on YouTube on Heart Breathings and check out the like description box for the links, or download the How to Plot a Novel workbook, and the links are the very last page. Emma Louise says, I remembered my question. When you are thinking of titles for your chapters, do you wait until it's written and then pick it out, or do you go into the chapter knowing that will be the title? That's a good question. So as you guys have noticed, in this particular series, I title the chapter something that comes from the writing. I write first. So when I'm starting book 12, for example, each chapter inside my Google Doc will just be chapter 1, Jackson, and it'll just be whoever's point of view it is. And it stays that way. And sometimes I don't even put chapter 1 because I move them around. So it'll just say chapter Jackson, or it'll just say Jackson, one or the other. And then I'll write the whole rough draft. And I do not add the chapter titles until the very last thing before I send it to beta readers. So it's usually like on the 5th draft before I add the title. And it's whatever resonates to me when I'm doing that kind of like final read through. And I go, ooh, that would be a good chapter title. So it comes last, almost last. Thank you. I love the chapter titles that way too. I don't do it that way in every book. Like all of my Fairhope series is just like chapter 1, chapter 2. But I do enjoy doing it. And so I brought it back for The Witch's Key because I just enjoy doing that. So Nimidel had said, my question is, in your several tarot decks, do you have cards you feel exceptionally connected to, or that you want to embody the energy of? That's a good question too. So I always feel that you can develop a relationship with certain cards for sure. And whenever I get cards like the Queen of Pentacles, for example, I always think, because I'm the sole income support for our family, I always take that as kind of like a high five from the universe. Like, you're doing good supporting your family with your income. And you know, you're getting things done. You're you know, good job. So that one kind of always comes with a little smile. Also, when the Sun card comes out, I'm always like, okay, I know. I need to focus on the happy. I need to focus on the things that are so good. Because it's just that joyful kind of card. Also, the Empress is my lifetime growth card. There are ways that you can figure out your lifetime growth card from a couple of different books that are out there. You can just Google it. But my lifetime card that signifies me is the Empress. And so every time I get that, it's like a little message to be yourself, and to really and truly embody this version of yourself that is confident and sure of herself, but is also really feminine and, really strong. So several cards that I definitely feel connected to in that way. What decks are you taking with you when you go? I don't know. This is something I have to decide, because I probably have 10 or 15 decks. I'm not sure how many I have. I have a lot, and I don't know what to take. I don't know. I'm a little bit sad to leave any in storage, honestly, but I cannot take them all. So I might just have to like put a special box together that has a blessing on it and put them into storage. And then when I get home, just have a complete like cleansing of the cards. I'm not sure, but yeah. And I have one set of Oracle cards that I don't really use. And I don't even know what a Lenormand deck is. So you'll have to teach me about that, or I'm going to have to go look it up. I have never really connected too much with any Oracle cards, mostly just tarot cards. Another question from Kate is, for random tasks, not Kanban tasks that you need to follow up on that pop up, usually waiting on somebody else, where do you keep track of these? So I keep track of random things that come up. Gosh, I feel like this thing keeps changing. Is it going to come back? It's like it gets darker and darker. For random tasks like that, I use this particular sheet. So in my HB90 planner, I have this sheet where I put what book I'm working on and that kind of thing. I will put those kind of tasks here, and then I just migrate them from week to week if they're not done. Or if it's something that's documented in an email, like I need to send this giveaway out and I'm waiting for an address, then I just Google Gmail has a little thing that says add it to your tasks. So I do it there. So I know to look in one of those two places. It's either going to be in my planner on this page, or it's going to be in my task list on my email. So pretty easy question. Easy answer there. Angela said, will you be checking your PO box before you head out on your adventure? Don't plan on sending anything big, but don't want you to have to pay more if you're not checking it before you leave. So I know I already have a couple things that are over there, so I need to go check it this weekend probably, but I will check it before I leave because I'll also have to give them information on where to send things that come in. So I will check it one more time before we leave at least. And they do send me a message. So if I see that I have something before we go, but if you were hoping to send me anything, please don't send me anything big. Like a letter or stickers or something like that would be awesome. But for the most part, it would just be awesome to wait until I get settled somewhere and have another address for you to use. Although it will make me sad because I have loved all the gifts. They mean so much to me. Leilani Bell says, how do you manage to stay on track during your time blocking? So this is a good question. I wanted to get through all of these, and I know we're kind of going to go over time, and George is going to be like, you're overtime every day. But I wanted to get through them. So during my time blocking with the tasks, the way that I stay on track with actually tracking them is I have a alarm that goes off on my phone every 30 minutes that tells me track your time. And so I remember to go in and track my time. And if I don't have my planner with me at the time, then I will track it on my phone, on my calendar, and then I will go back and add it to my time tracker. I have been trying to use these kind of devices like Timular, but they don't work as well for me because I keep forgetting to use them. So that's probably just going to go into a box until I get settled. But then Rider on Wheels had also said, how do you determine how long something will take? Like I'm setting up my various author platforms, and I found that I either way underestimate or way overestimate. When it comes to staying on track with my tasks, not just the task blocking, like the tracking it, but actually staying on track with my tasks, that's just something I've kind of learned to be disciplined on over time. And I don't even know what I've really implemented to stay on track other than just the more clear I am about what needs to get done, like a very specific list of this needs to get done, this needs to get this, rather than just being like, start my Instagram. I have to have a thing that says, create 3 images using this, and the more clear I am, the more I can stay on track. In terms of how do I estimate? Well, I think that comes also from experience, is that I just will say, I think that this is going to take me 4 blocks of time, which is going to be 2 hours. And then I stay as targeted and focused as I can. And if it's not done in 2 hours, then I make a note of it and I say, okay, this is going to take me more next time. So the next time I go to set up all my social media posts, I know that I'm going to need more time than 4 task blocks. And you just kind of learn over time that it's going to take you extra. When you overestimate, I think it's really just experience. You just do your best guess and then use your experience for sure. One last question. Steph said, if you could wear one single crystal or gem every day, what would it be and why? This is kind of hard. So garnet is my birthstone, and I am also working right now on my root chakra, which is why I have the red nail polish that's flaking off. And so the garnet is really important to me right now. So right now it would be garnet. I don't even wear my diamond ring every day because I don't necessarily like to wear rings when I'm like working on random stuff. But garnet is probably one of the gemstones that I have the most connection to. And like I said, I also love this, which is a lapis lazuli, and trying to think what else I have loved. I never did love citrine, but now I have a new citrine ring that I absolutely love as well. I also really have always loved amethyst and have often had an amethyst on somewhere on my body. So those are probably my favorites, but that's a good question. And we're done with the questions from Discord and from Facebook, and I got dark again. Well, maybe we won't have this problem when I switch to a different webcam. Were you writing when you were a teacher, or did you learn that later? I did not write when I was a teacher. I learned that later. I was mostly a musician for most of my life, and the writing that I did a lot of writing since I was very young, but it was always journaling or poetry or short stories. So I didn't start trying to learn how to write an actual novel until after I quit my teaching job. Do you have much time you feel is not being used the way you wanted? Always. Yeah, I feel like I can always make improvements. And if I have one day that's like a perfect day, I can never have another perfect day tomorrow. It's like it just never happens. And I think that is a sabotage type thing. If I have one really good day, then I'm like more likely to sabotage myself the next day. And I'm working on that because that is just nothing but like a mental game or a heart game. So, I'm working on it. I don't know if he's going to bring her down. Yep, I think they're coming down. So I'll wait until they get down here. But I just wanted to say thank you again for everybody who has stuck with Rival Demons, even though we did have to take a break in between. I hope you guys loved the book. And obviously, we're going to even have twice as long of a read when it comes to... What are you doing? She's still in her PJs that have strawberry juice on them, but that's okay, right? You want to say hi? You want the ring?
I can't push it.
You can't push it? You want to try it? It's really big for you. She is getting into everything. We've been trying to close boxes up because every time we have an open box in the living room, she is into it like crazy. So we're having quite the adventure these days with her getting into everything, but it's all good. We're starting to get the car situated for how to keep the kids interested and entertained while we're in. And Evie, I'm in my PJs too. Angela, are you really? Are you really? I don't know. You want to say hi to everybody?
No.
No?
I don't want to hug you.
You want to go see Andrew?
Hug you? I need you.
All right, you guys, thank you so much. And she is growing so much hair. It is finally, yeah. Oh, and how old is yours? Because we need to get over this period of time. I have a feeling this could be a long game of her getting into everything. And she especially likes to take the caps off of my pens and markers, and then we can't find them because she's put them in boxes or who knows where. So we'll see how it goes. But I will keep you guys updated. We will be back on Monday for Demons Forever to begin, which I am very excited about. And, I will keep you guys updated on the adventure as we go. 4 years old. Don't tell me that. That's too hard. Oh, it's going to be crazy. But we will have a good time reading the next book and just staying flexible. Most of August will be normal. But once we get into September, we might have a few things that we'll have to kind of shift as time permits with various moves and things like that. Because after Florida, we might be on the road for as long as 4 or 5 days before we finally settle somewhere. But as long as I have an internet connection, I should be fine to go. And I'm just trying to stay as flexible as I can. Thank you guys for being a part of the community and for always being here. And I will see you all on Monday. If you have not joined Publish and Thrive yet and you're a writer and you want to, then definitely come join us. Mason said mine threw my plotting cards all over this evening. No. That's terrible. I'm so sorry that happened. Hopefully you can get them back into order. But if you want to come join Publish and Thrive, you guys, that will be starting on Monday, and I close registration on Sunday night. But I will see you guys on Monday, and I'm super excited for it. Have a great weekend. You want to say bye? Bye. Bye, you guys. Module 1 opens, actually, if it opens Sunday night, so it opens at 00 UTC. So depending on where you are in the world, if you're on the East Coast here, then it opens at 8 p.m. on Sunday night, actually. So little tidbit for you guys there. All right. See you guys soon. Bye.